I loved one of the descriptors right there. He makes difficult shots look so easy. I know we got some stuff we want to talk about with P.J. Washington, but I want to focus in on this game first because, Corey, you had a great way of putting it before our show started. It felt like the Mavericks were up to the task of whatever variety of basketball or pace that you wanted to go.
Yeah, they are what I used to, and this is kind of what I was saying yesterday about the Stars, too. They have all the tools in the box. They are right now in their bag. They know exactly what they are. They can match up with you. I thought the Spurs were phenomenal at playing your game. If you decided you wanted to run the court against them back in the day, they'd say, that's fine, we can do that too. And then they would be like, all right, we'll slow it down on you, and we're going to play our game against you, and we're going to beat you at that. The Mavericks went into Miami, which is known as a defensive, physical team. And they said, we're going to be more defensive and more physical than you guys. We're going to match it and be better at it than you guys. If you guys want to shoot threes against us, good luck. Everything that the Mavs did last night was not only were they up to the task, Kevin, but they looked like they wanted to make a statement to everybody that it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what type of game you play. We play your game and we play it better. And adding P.J. Washington and Daniel Gafford is a huge factor in this because of the size of this team now. I mean, even whenever you have P.J. Washington, Exum, Gafford, and Luka out on the court, and let's say Kyrie's out there. Yeah. He's still a wizard with the ball. But your size defensively,
Jones out there,
those guys can rotate and do so many different things. Their defensive, not just the effort, but their defensive acumen now has raised so far. And I know a lot of people won't give Luka credit for his defensive efforts. He's not just out. When I'm watching him now, he's not just out there trying. He's playing defense along with a group of guys that are all committed to playing defense.
By the way, last 3 games, y'all, Daniel Gafford, 21 shots, 21 makes. He's shooting 78% with the Mavericks. I don't care where you're shooting from. In a live game, that's pretty dang impressive,
I did have this game on upstairs while I was watching this Ranger game here live. And so I wasn't watching it where I'm watching every play like I usually do if I'm at home. But they have given me such confidence. And here's what I'm scared of, guys, before watching Denver last night, is I'm like, I don't think anybody's better than them. Where are you guys at? Before we get into P.J. Washington, I don't know. Maybe we need to get into just P.J. Washington, but I'm watching them play, and I'm like, this is Miami. They're fighting for something. They're trying their best, and Miami, in a way, can't even compete with us.
Not even close. I'm having this hard time. I'm having a very difficult time believing it right now because I know what I'm seeing. What I'm seeing is great, but is there a difference between right now and the season and the playoffs?
I don't think so. Sorry if you had more. I don't think so because of the size. Like, your size will translate way better to the playoffs than whatever finesse jump shooting, whatever you're trying to do. Your size is going to translate. And so thank you very much for having snacks dropped off for us.
Awesome.
Yes. Is this lemon?
Wow.
Is this lemon? Oh, my gosh. She just nailed it. This is going to be
What'd
the
she
one.
say?
Lemon coconut.
Oh, delightful. Thank you very much.
Now.
Go ahead. Give us your reaction to that. But I think the size translates so much better in the playoffs than past Mavericks teams that obviously haven't been able to put this up.
The thing is this team can play any way you want to play. And that is so important in the NBA playoffs. It's tough for me to think of, and maybe more NBA experts would say, oh, no, this team could only play one style and they won the championship. They can play up-tempo with a team and beat them that way. They can now play a slow game, a defensive, slow, walk-it-up-the-court game and win that game. That's honestly Luka's style.
Spurs were that.
And so I'm to the point where I'm like, I get it. Boston's awesome. Watching Denver last night, they scare the living crap out of me, and they got the 1 seed for now. So if you were to beat the Clippers, which I do think the Mavs would, you'd match up with Denver in the second round, and they look pretty unbeatable, to be honest, watching them last night against Minnesota. But I think the Mavericks have a chance. I think they're the only team. I think Denver and the Mavericks are the 2 best teams. Now, that being said, Corey, it didn't matter. I watched this morning Kendrick Perkins, Richard Jefferson, Shannon Sharp.
What about the Lakers? What are they doing?
Right, and they do not see the Mavericks as a true contender.
Sure.
They see them as a good team, a team that's really improving. They're giving them some praise. At the same time, they do not want to go to, probably because they're the 5 seed and just won their 50th game, which was a major accomplishment from being 34-29.
Yes.
But they don't want to put them into the contender status.
Okay, and maybe for the same reason that I'm kind of nervous is the pro guys know throughout a season what it takes. It goes back to years ago, Jesse Holley was like, of course Todd Gurley's doing this right now. He's had 6 weeks off. Everybody else is tired,
Right.
and he's coming into this fresh, so he's popping off this injury like he's the man right now. Of course that's going to happen. Wait till he gets a little tired. And that's where I'm kind of like waiting right here. Are the Mavs trying harder than everybody else right now? Last night, the Heat were trying hard. And so I wonder if that has something to do with it, if the Richard Jeffersons and the Perkins are not just jealous of what the Mavs are doing, but if they're looking at it going, look, right now in the season, a lot of people feel like they're settled into the playoffs and they're not going out and giving max effort like the Mavericks who are out there. I'm concerned. We've talked about teams doing this, being at a peak and having nowhere else to go from here. But, Kevin, the one thing I'm watching, I want to argue against myself real quick here. The one thing I'm seeing is with Luka and only Luka and a bunch of guys standing on the perimeter, there was this, you've run out of plays, guys.
Yep.
Y'all have run out of stuff to do. Now it's Yu Darvish with 80 pitches and an ephus.
And you have another pitcher essentially out there that can also do those plays.
Yeah, exactly. And so when it comes to Luka knows where his bread and butter is. He knows he can get his shots whenever he wants to. He knows he can set up guys. But then whenever they say, we got that covered, we've run out of plays, oh, guys, don't forget, I got Daniel Gafford here in the middle, or P.J. Washington cutting to the basket, or Exum's wide open and he's going to deliver. So there's just so much more the Mavs can do as a team now.
So a couple of things there. I'm not disputing Richard Jefferson or Kendrick Perkins' basketball knowledge at all, but they also work in a medium where you know what sells. And the Lakers, the Warriors, they
Cowboys.
sell better. Yes, well, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But just in basketball, they sell more than Denver or Dallas or Minnesota, OKC or whatever. So I think that's part of it. And then when you talked about the Mavericks playing harder than anybody else, maybe the Clippers, we might need to have that conversation. As you saw last night, they were like, we don't care, because they sat everybody.
Right.
But Oklahoma City, Minnesota, Denver, they're all trying to get that top spot. Like, if you watch that Denver-Minnesota game last night, Anthony Edwards and Jokic in the third quarter were like, the hell I am going to lose this game. And then the other one's like, oh, we'll see about that. So I think you're getting max effort probably from 4 of the 5. The Clippers, that's a different deal. And so I understand any concerns there, but I like the Mavs shots against the Clippers. I did not like Denver winning that game last night.
No, because that puts them on your side of the bracket. And watching them last night with a healthy Jamal Murray, they're the best. I don't think they're way better than the Mavericks anymore, but I still think they're better. Michael Porter Jr., when healthy, is a dangerous threat at his size.
Agreed.
He's an unstoppable jump shot. There's nothing you can do because he's almost 7 feet tall, shooting like a real jump shot. He's in a way somewhat. He's not nearly this good, but he's like when Kevin Durant was in his prime and raised up to shoot a shot, there's nothing you could do. Like, they're way taller than the person. You can't put a tall guy on them or they'll drive right by you. So they are very dangerous. That's the only team right now that I feel like can beat the Mavs, at least in the Western Conference. I think Boston's a great team, and I think they're going to have an easy road to the NBA Finals. So I think Boston's going to easily make the NBA Finals, but I think the 3 best teams in the NBA, in whatever order you want to put them, is Denver, Boston, Dallas.
And that actually is my specific order. That is why we brought up P.J. Washington, all right? Because you said something the other day, and in between, in the Charlotte game, not good. But here's his breakdown for the month, and that's why we focus on the month of April. P.J. Washington, 16 points a game, 7 rebounds a game, shooting 38% from 3 and 46% from the field. Keep in mind, those numbers include him going 0 for 6 the other night against Charlotte. Which April P.J. Washington are you going to get? Is it going to be a mix of you're going to get a couple of Charlotte games in there, but then you're going to get the rest of what you've seen? But if this is the P.J. Washington you see in the playoffs, where he's shooting 38% from 3, where he's shooting 46% from the field while giving you 16 points and cleaning up the glass, how much better does that make you feel about the Mavericks? Because that feels like a huge deal.
with me if you want to here.
I am.
If I'm getting that version plus the connector that he is when it comes to moving the ball around the court, because he's doing a great job at that too. Last night specifically, the Heat went to the zone on the defensive side, and they said, and what do you say about the zone?
Zones for cowards.
So when they did that, the Mavs said, that's fine. We're just going to put P.J. Washington in the middle, and he gets to decide where the ball goes from there.
Yeah.
If he wants to go to the basket with it, that's fine. If he wants to distribute, he can do that, and he can do it.
He gets a lot of hockey assists where
Yes.
it's not the last pass, but it's the pass before the last pass.
Yes, exactly. Or the pass before the pass before the pass.
Yeah.
He is that guy for the Mavericks because he can do those things. And the defensive part of it, he's kind of a Swiss Army knife, as we discussed a little bit yesterday. I don't necessarily need him to score 16.
Sure.
But I'd love it. But I think because of those things that he can do that are ancillary to getting the ball in the right hands, that's just the version I'll take no matter what. If I'm getting the defense and the connector part of it, I'm very happy with this guy.
If he's consistent, if you got like 16 and 7 every game, no more, no less, you beat the Clippers in 5, maybe 6 games.
Very easy, yes.
If he is who he's been his whole career, and even with the Mavericks, where you get a 30-point game, you're going to probably easily win that game. And then the next game you get 1 for 8 for 2 points and 0 for 2 from the free throw line, you could be in trouble. But that's who he is. He's going to give you great effort defensively. He's going to give you effort, on the rebounds, which is going to contribute to a team. I hope that he's that consistent, somewhere 12 to 18, somewhere in that range every game. And you should win most of your playoff games if he's that guy.
Especially if it's 40% from 3. Like if it's 40% from 3 to hit that number.
If he's 2 of 5 from kind of the corners is where he gets most of his looks. If he's 2 of 5, which isn't, in a weird way, you think of that and you're like, that's not asking a lot, but that is a great percentage.
Yeah.
And he's going to get open looks. They're going to leave him to stop Kyrie, to stop Luka, to stop Gafford from diving to the basket for easy dunks. So he's going to get looks in the playoffs that if he's making them, the other team's going to go, and they should. You just tip your cap and go, we lose.
Yeah.
If you walk Corey Seager today to pitch to Wyatt Langford, if he's in the lineup, I haven't seen the lineup today, and Wyatt Langford hits a homer, you tip your cap and go, we're passing on the best hitter in the American League to face the rookie, and if the rookie beats us, he beats us. And that's going to be the Mavericks' playoff successes. I think Luka's going to get his, Kyrie's going to get his, as long as they're both healthy, and it'll be up to Exum, Gafford, Derek Jones Jr. at times, and obviously P.J. Washington will probably be the most out of the main role players, that if he's giving you really good games, the other team's going to say, we lose. There's nothing we can do.
The distribution last night, that's what I want in playoffs, man.
Okay.
When you get, it was 3 dudes had 12, and then, Kyrie and Luka had their 20+. Like, that's perfect for me because that means that was a team-oriented game. Ball has energy. Reggie talks about that all the time. Guy gets the ball, and he feels like he's part of the game, and that's what's happening with this team. They feel like they're doing something special.